Okay, it doesn't, okay, it is recording.
It's recording. All right. Welcome to Confident Ladyboss Series, August 15. We have a great speaker tonight, Madeline Faiella, who is going to talk about taking the badass risks. And so Madeline is a coach, she's a speaker, she's been a singer, she's an artist, so she's got the creative juices going on in her personality. She's all the way here from Florida. I will leave it to Madeline to share more about herself that she'd like the audience to know. So go, Madeline. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you for inviting me. I always love doing things with you.
Thank you. And we have Janet Piselli, who has returned.
Woo, Janet, is that wine?
It is.
My kind of gal.
Good, Janet. Good, Janet. That's fine. And we have Tanya Crew.
Awesome. Bring beverage. So let's see. So that was a wonderful introduction. There are just a couple of things that I'll add is that I'm a civility advocate, certified, and I am an international author as of last month. And I love, and my mission is working with women to help them get to a point of unlimited confidence, courage, and tapping into their power. And this applies to every single part of their life, no matter what it is, whether it's your thinking, your business, your health, your family, and all your relationships. So tonight what I want to talk about is, and this is based on our entrepreneurship tribe, taking those badass risks. You know, some of them are good and some of them we wonder. But I hope tonight to unravel some of that for you. So the first thing is that when we are entrepreneurs, we're going to take risks. It's an essential part of developing that entrepreneurial spirit. If you need to run your own business, you're never going to do it without a risk. So I took risks. There are two ways to do taking if you're an entrepreneur and you're working in corporate. One is, and this is the preferred way, plan to leave, or like it happened to me, you've been tossed out and now you got to skedaddle.
So you've been tossed out, huh?
Yeah, you've been tossed out and you have to skedaddle. No matter how you look at it, no matter how you want to buffer it or couch the language. Hello, Deborah.
Hi, Deborah.
Hello. That's what happens. So then we need to understand that we're going to have to take some risks. Risks aren't taken on a whim, okay? Granted, if you're pushed, you've got to have that foundation of yourself that you're used to taking risks because you're going to have to move faster. But for the most of us, and I will say that for us in entrepreneurship, we usually have a little time to think about a risk. We want to think big, but we can take little risks at a time. Not always, but this is something that I have been looking into for the last few days. You can take little risks for your big vision, but don't drop that big vision. And no matter what the outcome, risks usually always bring income. You may take a risk today, the income may come at the end of the year, the end of the week, next year, but the risk you take today will absolutely set you forth in what's going on in your life. And you guys know I'm going to talk about energy and how all of that will benefit you. Fear comes up, right? With risk, always. And it depends again on how solidified we are in our own character, in our own building, what that fear will do to us. And so the best thing is when you feel that fear, do it anyway. Entrepreneurs have to take risks. They're meant to take risks. It's very important that we do that, because if we don't, as an entrepreneur, people will stomp right over you. And that's a fact. It'll happen. So I want to bring up the point that one of the risks is you're going to give up your consistent paycheck. And this is a very real question that you need to ask yourself. I'm going to give up that paycheck. So do I have what it takes to not stay up at night wondering? Or do you have enough foundation and enough faith and work ethic to know that you are going to make it work? That's key. Now, Tina and I talk about this all the time because life isn't easy for any of us. Deborah, would you mute yourself, my love?
I was just going to say, yeah, for those of you that are not muted, if you could mute yourself. I know Tanya, you're calling in from your phone, so you can't mute yourself probably, but.
So am I.
Oh, you can't mute?
Oh, you can't mute.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so let's move on. So we want to.
Tanya did. Okay, Tanya did mute herself. Okay, thank you, Tanya.
Thank you, Tanya. So when we rely on only cash flow and we don't think about everything else that we're meant to do in life, risks seem overwhelming. Remember that the risks that we take aren't always just money. Okay? And if you're able and you're still working and you can plan your exit, and Tina's the expert on this, if you can plan your exit, you can really set yourself up. You can set yourself up to say, okay, this is what I'm looking at as far as finances. What can I do for health insurance? What do I do for X, Y, and Z? And if you have enough time, you can start saving to have a little bit of a nest egg for the business only. Because I'm going to tell you, guaranteed, and I had a good chunk of money. And I just kept using it to do what I had to do. And I have to say that I'm still not freaking out. So risks are important. It's a part of every day. Remember that when you get into your entrepreneurship, one of the risks is that your personal time isn't really going to be your personal time. You know, you are going to work maybe more than you ever worked before, but because it's for your business, it won't feel as bad. But that is something you need to look at. Most of us, many of us, until we get it all down, aren't working that 4-hour week or day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? We are working some badass hours and we're sticking it in there and we're doing it. We love that we're doing it, but it's a risk, and your health is also a risk.
Yeah.
Right? When you become an entrepreneur, one of the risks is being disciplined enough to take care of your health. So all the risks that we have are not always money. Now, you guys hear me talk about Richard Branson because I really love the way he does things. So, Janet, do you know who Richard Branson is? The founder of Virgin Records, and he just he's sending tourists to the moon, and he's got about 400 companies. But when he started his first company, he didn't do it for money. He did it because he wanted to be an editor, and he started Virgin Magazine. So he just took risks. So one of the things they tell us, and most of us, because we are so engulfed in those veils of stories, we're afraid. We're afraid to take the risk financially. Think about it. Yeah, I'll work the extra hours. No, I'll take care of my health. But yeah, you know, what am I going to do without that paycheck? Right? So, according to him, when you don't even think about it, and it's true. And I can say that when I was singing, I didn't think about a paycheck, and the money flowed in. I was having a ball. Money flowed in. When we think about things other than the money, the risk factor goes way down. Consequently, and we were having a conversation today, Tina and I, about stress as an entrepreneur. So if you're a high stress person, you've got a risk toward that as well. Why do I bring that up? I bring that up because you may have to have, as a part of your plan, the risk factor for health. You may have to have extra doctor visits. You may want to talk to a therapist, get a coach, a mentor. You cannot do this on your own. I can't. I have mentors and coaches now. Tina had mentors and coaches and still does. We mastermind all the time, and we mastermind with different people. Not taking a risk is the biggest risk. Whatever risk you take, I guarantee you it will be toward making more money. We may not be as honed in as some of the bigger business people. They know, well, this didn't work out and I lost this many hundreds of thousands of dollars. But I know that I'll recoup that because now we're going to do X, Y, and Z. These are things that we have to risk learning, because when we learn this, it's scary. So I call it the reverse risk. It's like, well, I don't have to worry about, but you do. Now, what if I just got goosebumps, another risk, what if you do become super successful? Are you prepared? Are you seriously prepared? Are you prepared for the influx of clients, customers, buyers, information addicts, media? Are you prepared for all of that? So, I heard someone say the other day, I want like 50 clients. And my question was, can you handle that? And they stopped and literally couldn't speak. So we have to look at all the risks. We take a risk when we get up and walk out the door, but we don't think about it. So when we're in entrepreneurship, we have to think about absolutely everything. What's that risk? What's the risk that if you have a partner, a spouse, family members, are they not going to like what you're doing? Do you have what it takes to be confident enough to stand up to that and allow them to feel good about it? That's a risk. You could risk your family. You could risk your relationships with friends. I can tell you for a fact, I did, and it turned out that they're gone. Because you have to be putting yourself first. So the risk of feeling like, oh my God, am I being selfish? No, you're not. You're not being selfish. You're taking a risk. You have to set up the thinking for that. Okay, not everyone's going to like it. It's a risk factor. Do we think of that when we go into entrepreneurship? No. I bring it up because there have been people who have literally lost their businesses because the first 100 people didn't like their product or their service. So what? You keep going. And if you take the risk failure if you quit. Think of it that way as well. That's that reverse risk taking. Okay? Don't want you to quit. And again, I can assure you that if you choose the route that you're thinking of, whether it looks good or not, you will make money. So the other thing that I want to say, and I want to bring up some notes because this is really important and I don't want you to miss this. So I want to talk to you about 3 steps to calculating risk. So Tina's tribe, my tribe, our combined tribes, whatever, everyone is smart and brilliant and genius in their own way. But I have to say this all the time. When I talk about risk, I don't mean bungee jumping when you're pregnant. I'm talking about calculated risks and making decisions on the spot. So calculating risks. Here's 3 steps to help you. The first step is you want to remove the fear of failure. Did you know that that's the #1 reason why most people avoid risk? I don't want to fail. I literally knew someone that I dated, and I said, why aren't you going to do this race? It was just an amateur ski race. And he said, I don't do anything I don't think I can win. Bad thinking. Bad, bad, bad. So we still let fear hold us back because we see business owners suffering from analysis paralysis. How many of you have heard of that? Analysis paralysis, right, Tina? Analysis paralysis. We get so stuck, and I'm guilty. I've been there. I've done it. And we don't make a decision. Nothing happens. Should I do this? Or then you find yourself asking 12 people. That's the reverse risk. You get bogged down by fear, so you don't make a decision. So I ask you, as a risk, what can you afford to keep playing it safe? Isn't that a bigger risk? So number 2, do the math. The real math. So risk versus reward. You want to examine the ways that you can fail and what would it cost you? A, most likely you're not going to die from it. B, the world won't stop turning. And C, opportunities won't quit coming in. So if you do something and it doesn't seem to work out in the moment, adjust your direction and go in that direction. So you got to realize that along the way, some decisions might seem wrong, but eventually you're going to get more comfortable with that. As we go, we get more comfortable with that. So be open to making course corrections to get back on track. And as we get back on track, we'll notice that ever so slightly, just degrees left or right, we are off what we thought was that straight road anyway. The third thing is let other people challenge you. The higher the risk, the more homework I do. Also, putting people around you that make you think, that push you to work. People that make tons more money because their business is amazing. People have tons more education than you. People who have been doing it for so many years. Instead of competing, take that risk of being open, vulnerable, and able to learn from them. When you do this and you take this approach, your risks become more clearly defined. If you have defined risks, like, okay, I want to go take this course because A, B, and C, and those A, B, and C's are things that you'll think about on your own or that I go into when I'm doing deeper conversation. What can happen? Okay, so here's the thing I tell myself. All right, so you're going to eat tuna sandwiches all week. You're going to make sure you make that. You'll room with somebody, and you'll come home with all this information. The risk isn't that. You know what the risk is? As always, the risk is us. Will you apply? That's the big risk factor. Will you apply what you learned? Has nothing to do with money for the flight, money for the program, money for the hotel, the seminar, whatever. It really, all the risk is us. Will I apply? So that is something that you need to do. Every day, business owners are presented with the opportunity to weigh risk versus reward. For example, maybe you're considering taking out a loan for your business, right? Or maybe you want a new business partner. Maybe you want to try a new marketing campaign. Anything is a risk. And why? And Tina and I had a conversation about time, value, and income. It's all a risk. What are you worth per hour? How many hours have you put into doing something without getting the fruits of your labor? Granted, we all need to do things to serve others on a free level at times, but we also need to take the risk of asking for what we're worth. Is it a risk? Yes, and I'll tell you why. Eventually, people will pay you unless you're trying to sell them doggy poo. Okay? Eventually, they're going to buy. Someone's going to be the person that is looking for what you have, girl. They are looking for what you have. And so you take that risk, you ask. And that's why they call all of that A/B testing. All the A/B testing has to do with risk and reward. And the big companies do that. And we as entrepreneurs have to do that. So look at the other side of the equation. What's the opportunity cost of not taking the risk, of not taking the loan, of not asking for what you're worth, for not bringing on a new partner or a JV partner, or not testing that new campaign? What's that risk? It's badass huge because you'll never know, right? You will never, ever know. And the worst thing is in life, to me, is not knowing. Reaching your deathbed and going, oh, I wonder if I would have. We don't want that. None of us want that. We're hot-blooded divas who want to move forward in our businesses, have fun, serve other women in the community, serve women globally, so that we're not the Me Too movement. That's not us. What we want is to be the We Are movement. We are enough. We take the risk. We have business. We believe in faith. We believe in everything that we do. So when it comes to taking chances in your business, don't let fear of failure sideline your potential growth. You have to do your homework. If you're an entrepreneur or you're leaving corporate and you want to be an entrepreneur, understand that you will have to become a researcher. You will have to become, on some level, your own writer. You will have to become the best communicator you've ever been in your life. You will have to learn the personalities of other people. And you will have to take the risk of being yourself with these other people and making that all work together. So when we take chances in business, we have to consider all the mathematical equations too, and let others challenge us. So it's some practical, tactical, and it's a lot of mindset. Then we have to practice. So what's the risk of practice? Let's look at the inversion there. The risk if you don't practice, and again, this lands on us, and I say this for a specific reason. If we don't apply, then we will fail from not taking the risk to have daily practice. Why do I say risk? Well, because you're going to have to give something up. How strong are you and what will you give up? That's a risk. It's a risk-taking factor. Will you stress out because you give up TV? Will you, in order to get healthy enough for your business, stress out because you're not eating donuts and pancakes? Will you stress out because you're no longer allowing people to talk down to you because now you are a kick-ass diva, great mindset, risk-taking entrepreneur? Think about it. It's a risk. You're going to have to be visible. It's a risk. What happens if you don't take that risk? No one's ever going to see you. So is anyone ever going to come and knock on your door and say, Deborah, you're such a beautiful lady. I love your necklace. I love your dress. And I want to buy from you. No, not going to happen.
Not if I don't market myself.
What's that?
Not if I don't put myself out there, take a risk.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Exactly. Put yourself out there, showing up.
Exactly. And as much as we know that God loves us and he's got our back, he also wants us to kick booty. We got to work.
We gotta
That's
work.
right.
We gotta work. We gotta take risks every day.
Yes, you have to practice those moves over and over again until you're comfortable enough to climb that mountain. So, one last thing before I open it up for questions. Good, Tina? Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
So, also, you're going to have to take the risk of checking your perfection at the door, checking your control at the door, and checking all your other mindset challenges and adversities. Check them at the door, baby, because they will hold you back. And then you're going to wonder, why is everybody else moving and I'm not? So then you're also going to have to check not comparing to others, because we're on our own paths. Every single one of us here, and if we were 100 people, which one day we will be, everyone has their own path. And it's not for us to compare. And it's not for us to compete. And it's not for us to be envious and jealous. It's for us to say, how do I get better? And we don't pray to God and say, oh, help me. No, we say, make me stronger so that I can take these risks.
Right. That's right.
And I'm not saying you're going to take a risk, walk in front of a bus. You guys are smart. You know what I mean. But I have to say this sometimes because I feel like I have to do the waiver, you know? No. And Deborah, yes, and thank you for agreeing, because you know that that's true. That's absolutely true. So in closing, what I want to say is that whatever risks we take and don't take, none of them are right or wrong. If you're at a crossroad and you don't know which way to go, remember that your vision is somewhere in the middle. We are not meant to go on a straight road, loves. So no matter what road you take, as long as your intention, your heart, your mindset, your health, everything is good, and you know, I'm going down there, I want to make money, I have amazing value, I'm taking these risks so that I can make big money at what I love doing, so that I can share with the community, so that I can serve others. It makes no difference if you go left or right, because all roads lead back to your vision. In the end, all roads lead back to your vision. And we are guided by, whether you believe in God, the universe, whatever, and by other entrepreneurs, because we're moving forward. No one cares if you're going left or right. So I wish for you to take the biggest badass risks that you can, to take calculated risks, to think about what happens if you don't take that risk. How much can you afford not to take a particular risk?
Well, I took a badass risk once when I worked for this company.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you, it blocked my progress. It really did.
You want to tell me about it?
It was a badass risk. And I'm not afraid to take risks, but what you said earlier is so profound, and I know that now. They have to be calculated risks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What I did was I worked for this company, and you know, I wanted to move up. So I had spoken to my boss at that time about some ideas and so forth. But I don't really think she had my best interests at heart. I think she just wanted me to be a workhorse, just work, you know. She didn't want me to use my creative mind, my creative style, my personality.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did, I put a presentation together and I sent it to one of the heads in the company. I didn't do it electronically because I know they would have it. I put it together hard copy, and I FedExed it to him. So when he got this presentation now, he called me and he said, "This is great." He said, "But did you speak to I said no. And I felt like such a pariah after that. I mean, he just closed down. He didn't have my back. It was all about my boss, and how she felt. How could I have done that? Anyway, I ended up staying with the company for about 6 years after that. And in that time, I realized that the company would never let me grow, because they were loyal to this woman. I went on a couple of interviews. They would not, and interviews that I were qualified for, experience, education, everything. And I was there and I worked. They wouldn't give it to me. Mm-mm. And let me tell you, I said, wow, I'm glad that I took that risk, because it taught me that this is the kind of company I'm not gonna, because another company that's more, the culture is more fair. It's good to be loyal, but you have to take opportunities. You have to see what other people can give you. If if you really want to grow and you're into innovation. So I made up my mind to, I knew I had to leave that company eventually. I moved around. I went from one location to another, but it was the same thing. They talk. People in companies don't think they don't talk. They, everyone talks and they know what happened and da, 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 da. So that was a good risk. It taught me a lot of things that I know I wasn't going to move up in that company. Even if I didn't take that risk, I don't think I would have moved up, because the person I worked for, she couldn't deal. She wouldn't be able to handle it. The person she put in a position didn't even have managerial experience. You understand? And it was really bad at one point, where everyone was talking, and I knew I would have been a good manager. But anyway, that was a badass risk I had to tell you about, because
good.
When you talked about that, it reminded me of that risk that I took.
So, first of all, let me give you amazing kudos.
I know.
For doing what you did, because
it was courageous.
Seeing, right? Very courageous, and you're seeing the rewards afterward. Because, it's akin to the story Tina, you've heard me say this before. In the industrial area, in the industrial time, the period of industry, all the men were home, right? Out working. All the women were home, and they had to have a place for kids. So they created schools. Then, when the TV came around, they created TV programming. So the things that you hear on TV and the things that you see would program your mind, so everyone thought the same way. Not unlike corporations, law firms, and other places. Do not think that they are not taught how to squash your dreams.
Yeah.
They know. But for you to have that courage and go beyond that anyway, you've grown immensely. And for you to share that story with us, I'm so excited. I want to just kiss your cheeks.
You have to do it. And you're so right. I love this topic, because that woman tried to get me to quit so many times. She made my life miserable there. But I left when I was ready. You must never let anyone chase you from what you want to do. You leave when you're ready. Don't let anyone mess with your bread and butter.
Whenever it's possible. I worked at a law firm, and when I got kicked in the booty, there was nothing I could do. Nothing. And especially in the state of Florida, because the laws are that it's a right to work state, and they can fire. They can
you at will. Mm-hmm.
They can fire you at will. They can evict you in 3 days. It's very different. But I thank you so much for sharing that and for having the courage to speak that to us. I love it.
Me too.
Janet,
me too.
Is there anything from you?
What's that?
Anything that you'd like to share, Janet?
We have Janet, Tanya, Carrie.
Yes.
Who else? Feel free. It's about 7:40.
We have a few minutes for some questions, comments.
Hi, this is Tanya.
Hi, Tanya. Welcome, first timer.
Yes.
Nice.
Thank you. I'm so excited. This is fantastic.
Awesome.
I can totally relate to the young lady's experience. I just quit my job last week.
Oh my God, Tanya, we need to talk.
Congratulations.
We need to talk.
Absolutely. They pushed me out, and it was so heartbreaking to me. I've been with the company for about 4 years, and I've never worked in corporate before.
Okay.
And I can totally relate to what this woman is saying. I was the workhorse, and my job was to make my managers look good.
Mm-hmm.
I was overqualified, vastly overqualified for the position, but I enjoyed the work. It was fun and it was interesting, but there was no room for me to do anything there. And when I continued to test the process and ask for improvements and show places where things could be done, this corporation had absolutely no interest in that whatsoever. So I'm here in Connecticut, and I'm trying to decide if I want to stay here or leave Connecticut, because it's a very expensive place to live.
Yes, it is.
In my former life, before I was doing the work I was doing with this corporation, I was a business counselor.
Oh,
and
okay.
And I practiced law for 10 years. So I've told people for over 10 years how to start their own businesses, how to get out there and do it. It just seems strange that I have a deficit of ideas for myself.
Okay, awesome. Oh, Janet just spilled water on her keyboard. God, I've done that. Oh my God, I've done that. I've spilled coffee on my keyboard.
Oh boy.
No.
Oh God. Well, Tanya, great job. Great job. Great job, Tanya, for quitting your job last week. I did it last July, so it's been 1 year that I've been a full-time entrepreneur.
Excellent.
Yeah, we'll have to talk online. And how did you hear of us?
Well, I think I was messing around somewhere online, and I saw your, I don't know if it's maybe LinkedIn. I can't remember where I saw it. Because I've been doing a lot of job searching.
Okay.
Because I thought, okay, maybe I need to get a job so I can have a job to depend on while I'm launching this business. So I can't remember exactly where I found you, but when I read it, I was like, damn, this is exactly what I need, because I need a group.
Awesome.
You know, I'm new to Connecticut. My company relocated here last July.
Awesome.
And I spent a year here really struggling because I didn't make a lot of friends here. The work was very complex, and the commute to Stanford was miserable.
Oh, yes. I know exactly what you're talking about. I grew up in Stanford. So for those of you, Stanford, Madeline is about a half an hour from where we live.
Right.
So Tanya lives in the same town as I live. So it's just amazing. Right. And so it's about a half hour. And it's such.
Well, the commute in the train is an hour each way.
I know.
So it's really miserable. And the drive is 2 hours if you're brave enough to do it. So
Exactly.
But what I've done, when I was in upstate New York, I was an innovative consultant, and I had a lot of clients, and I did a lot of good work there. I didn't have time once I relocated here to really launch being an innovative consultant. But what I have in mind is I want to start a podcast that supports innovative consultants. Okay. And I basically want to talk to people about solutions, because there are lots of things that are going on out there in the world that can be solved just by people coming together and having an honest conversation about what's going on. So that's what my interest is the podcast and the consulting.
Okay. Now, also, Madeline, Tanya wanted to know, how do you start a mastermind, or what is a master, like,
okay.
So let's talk about a little bit about masterminding. What does that mean, and how?
Wonderful. Absolutely. Is it okay with everyone if we move to a different subject?
Yes, but I like how you asked permission to do that. That's great.
Thank you, guys. Well, you know, we love you, we care about you, and we honor your time. The fact that you're with us gives me goosebumps. It makes me giggle. I love it. I love it. So we love you. Yes, so we're going to talk then about a mastermind. So here's how a mastermind starts, and this is how you know if you have the right people in your mastermind. You simply have a conversation. The conversation is about your business Or if you're planning a wedding, it's about the wedding. You're planning. So it's all about ideas. It's all about back and forth. It is about respecting each other's ideas. It's about not shutting people down. It's about not judging the people. It's about being open. It's about being courageous, not being afraid to give open ideas. And when you have 6 people at a table who all run from that mindset, run not away from it, but run with that within them, the ideas and the joint ventures and the collaborations that happen are truly amazing. You have to think top of mind in a mastermind. You forget who you're looking at, what they're wearing, what color their skin is, what they look like, what's going on around you, no distractions. You're completely focused. The mastermind is truly that. It is a master mindset. Now, Tina and I do it all the time, and we laugh, and we have a lot of fun. Now, I love fun, and that's how you learn. So a mastermind is a gathering of great brains, and you all have great brains. And right now, I want you all to understand that you do, okay? Absolutely.
Yes, we all
great
do.
Brains. Right? Everyone is enough. Have to know that's a syndrome going around the world. That sucks. So, masterminds, when you come off a mastermind, you've taken a ton of notes. You've got people you're going to call and connect with, and you've already maybe set up the next mastermind. And in a mastermind, you will also know if a person does not fit with the majority of the people. That happened to me at a group, and there were 2 ladies that just didn't fit. Do I still love them? Of course I do. They're humans. But as we have to do, we need to take risks. They may not like that I didn't call them in, but you have to have the courage and the quiet confidence to say, listen, this is a business. We're here to make money. We're here to elevate each other. We're here to support each other. That takes taking risks. Because I could support you and then you could just go off on your own. But you know what? If that happens, that's a risk I had to take.
Right.
Okay, does that make sense, Deborah?
Yes.
Yes.
Tanya, does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay. And during a mastermind, you're working through challenges that you're experiencing, whatever it could be. It could be as simple as, okay, I want to send out an email to my list and I don't know how to do a newsletter. So we could be talking about a specific thing, or you could be talking about something related to your website, whatever challenge you are having. Meeting people, how to network, where do you go, how do you network? You know, we could be talking about. So what I like about masterminding is that it's not just passing out business cards when you go to a meeting. It's really
not networking.
And it's not networking. You're actually solving problems.
Right.
Yeah.
Masterminding is solving.
What?
Yeah, I'm familiar with masterminding. I've been on several of my, that I've built for other people in starting their businesses. The problem for me is I don't have a network here. I don't have friends here, so I don't know where to start to begin to build that core group of people.
So Tanya, may I run something by you?
Absolutely.
So Tina and I are starting a mastermind. It is going to be very minimal cost. It is $27 a month. And we are going to mastermind just the way we are online right now. And we would like to invite any of you who believe that you could be a part of that mastermind to please join us. If you're interested, let me or Tina know, and we'll get back to you.
And I'll give you
absolutely
my email. I'll put my email in.
Yeah, we'll send an application. And we would be more than happy to have you. I can tell by talking to you that it's a good thing. You can tell by the vibration of people.
Yep.
Right, and their ideas. And it's very important. And masterminding, no matter what level you're at, one of the other good things is that masterminding, You have different people at different levels. Somebody who's been in business forever, someone who's just starting, someone who is rebranding, let's say. And everyone at the table, someone has gone through something that you need help with.
Yes.
Right. And also, you want to birth ideas. So you birth ideas, and you may not put them to use on the spot, but they come out later. I can testify to that. So any of you who are interested, let us know, and we'll send you the application. The only reason we do that is to honor everyone that's there, and because it is a minimal cost, we still want to give the maximum value and make sure that everyone is honored and respected. So that's really why we do that.
Very good. So it's 10 of 8 right now. Carrie, do you have anything? You've been quiet. Janet, I know you spilled water on your keyboard. Are you okay?
Oh, Janet.
I'm all better. I'm just kind of over here in the zone.
Throw rice on it.
Oh, throw rice on. That's good.
Uncooked rice.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like if you wet your phone, stick it in rice.
Yeah.
And let it sit. So do that with your keyboard and turn it upside down.
Yeah. Okay.
Aw. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
did you put a towel down on your desk and turn the keyboard upside down onto your desk, or are you on a laptop?
No, I turned it's a wireless keyboard. So,
Oh, okay.
It looks pretty dry now. So.
Oh my God, that's too funny.
Hey, Carrie, how are you?
I'm good and extremely petulant, extremely embarrassed that I'm
Why?
again. Well, because I got so involved in what I was doing. I looked twice today at my calendar and knew you were on at 6 o'clock my time. And then I got so involved in putting a background on and changing the colors and changing to the font of this graphic I was making that when I looked down at the time, it was 6:30.
I get it, love. I get it. And, you know, we all do that. And that's why we start right on time, because we honor everyone's time. Please don't fret. I get that. You were in the zone, baby.
And you joined us, and the replay
Yes.
will be posted in my group. Tanya, I do have a Facebook group called Women Creating Freedom in Their Career and Lifestyle. So join me there, because that's where I post all the replays in my group as well. I mean, for these series. Okay?
Okay.
And
Okay.
so also I'm going to put my email in here, Tina.
Yes.
In case anyone wants to reach me,
Yep. Please do.
it's creativemindset@comcast.net. Oh, and I spelled it wrong. Don't feel bad, anybody, because, you know, Madeline's got her own crap to deal with.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Okay, there you go. It's creative with an I.
Yep.
That's the problem
Okay.
with fast fingers.
Fast
Yes.
fingers that
Yes.
slip over the keys. So fast isn't always good, right?
Yes. Yes.
So said my last date 100 years ago. No.
What was I going to say? So, anything else? Anybody, Madeline, anything you want to say before we wrap up? Because I'll just share final.
Yeah, no, I just love the energy of these ladies. You are all fabulous. Tina and I were really excited about getting together. We love working together, and I really want you all to think about that mastermind.
Mm-hmm.
Think about what happens if you don't do it. And I don't mean that in a mean way. I mean that from experience. There were things I didn't do because I stepped over a dollar to pick up a penny, and I suffered.
Right.
And we don't want that for you. You know, I banged my head against the wall. Tina banged her head against the wall. So we've got flat foreheads. You shouldn't have to have the same, right? And we're so happy to share.
Exactly. So next Thursday, it's going to be, we have another speaker. Her name is Doreen Dilger. She's going to be talking about productivity, how to redirect, how to be productive.
Nice.
And the link is going to be the same link as tonight for all of you. And I'm going to put it here again for all of you. So you don't need to register. The reason why I put the register is for new people, but all of you that have been on here, it's the same link. And there's the link. Put it in your phone so you have it. That's what I do. That's what I do. When I have a Zoom to go to, I put it in my phone.
Okay. Well, listen, and if you didn't have it, don't feel bad, because I was like, Tina, I need the link.
Madeline, I know.
Funny.
Right? Tina, I don't have the link.
And I texted it for her, and I'm like, I posted it in the group. I try to cover all bases.
I like your idea. Put it in the phone.
Yep, I do. That's what I've been doing all the time now.
So here's something else. Let me just give this, because I learned this the other day. When you're putting something in your calendar, like for example on Google Digital Calendar, you put the name of who you're going to be with. If you have a Zoom, put the Zoom link in there. If you have an address, put the address in there. And don't trust your memory.
Exactly.
As we get more busy, then we have to have everything in front of us. I love you guys. Tina, thank you for having me, sweetheart.
Thank you. And Tanya, yeah, I got your email. Let's connect and set up a call so that we could learn about each other. I
That would be fantastic.
I know Janet, and I know Deborah and I used to work together.
Nice.
We came from the same company. We both quit our jobs last year. So she was in Long Island and I was in Connecticut.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Yep, and Janet is in essential oils. She's in Connecticut as well. Also you're in Milford, right, Janet? Is in
I'm
Milford
in
area.
Milford.
Yep, so she's in Milford as well.
That's
So
Peapod,
Tanya,
right?
yep,
Peapod oils. I love that.
Peapod oils. Carrie is in Minnesota.
Minnesota.
And Deborah's in Long Island, New York, and she's in the insurance.
Nice.
Yep.
Carrie is a coach. So she's been on numerous times, which has been awesome. I love the fact that we're getting regular participants and we're getting new people as well. So I love it.
Wonderful.
It's a mix, and I really like it a
So
lot.
one more thing I want to offer the group, Tina, for your group,
Yes.
is that if any of you would like to have a full, not a discovery call with me, not a strategy call, a full-blown 1-hour session, this month I'm giving them for $47, and it's normally $250 an hour for me. And I would really, really, really be happy to work with you.
$47. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's just your group. Don't tell anybody.
No. Good. Awesome. That's great. Okay. Very good. Well, thank you, everybody. Hope to see you next week.
Thank you, Madeline. Thank you.
guys.
I'm gonna
And I
stop.
liked what I heard.